Hello everybody, this is Noah's son, Brandon Onwuka is here, and this is Ty, Community Outreach Director for the South Shore Monarchs, and Nakira, one of our top players who's been with Noah's son for about a year now. And we're about to just go through some questions about the experience being a black woman in sports as well as the professional world. So first and foremost, Nakira, can you talk a little bit about yourself as far as basketball and, the journey up till today?
So I started playing basketball at around 7 years old. I played for my school's middle school team, and then from there I went to play AAU. That's when I really started to fall in love because I was traveling a bunch, with my parents and my friends' parents. We were just going to different tournaments all across the northeastern area, so that was a lot of fun. Then I went to high school. I started getting a lot better just from practicing and really understanding who I was as a player throughout the years. And then I was looking for colleges, and there were some in the works that I wanted to work on at the time, but I ended up going to UMass Dartmouth in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. And it was honestly probably one of the best decisions I ever made in regards to which school I wanted to go to. Not only for the basketball program, but they also had a really great psychology program, which I graduated from in 2019. And I didn't really I thought about going overseas and stuff, I think probably around my sophomore year of college, but it didn't really come into fruition in the real thought process of me okay, I can really do this, I can really put my foot in the door for this, probably towards the end of senior year. But then, graduating from school, I kind of just got discouraged. I was like, I think this is probably it for me. So it was just mostly reality shock of just graduating from school, trying to do the next step and maybe my career and what I wanted to do. So I just didn't really put that in the forefront. But then I met Damon through Brandon. He recommended me to him, and the rest is history.
And here we are. All right.
So let's talk a little bit more about the professionalism aspect. So, you said that you graduated from UMass Dartmouth with a psychology degree. So what are you currently doing with that?
So I currently work at a psychiatric hospital here in the greater Boston area, and I am also in my master's program for my MPH, which is Master's of Public Health. Probably expected graduation is 2022, but it is a 1.5 to 2 year program. So.
Perfect.
And where's that?
In Boston, I would go to Northeastern University.
Nice. Yeah, really good program.
Okay, so what are some of your career goals going into the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, I'll be 28. So I definitely want to be graduated from my master's, of course. And, I have thought about really zoning in on playing overseas after I graduate from my master's, and I definitely want to get my doctorate, either my PhD or go to med school, because my dream really is to become a psychiatrist. That is why I work at a psychiatric hospital, because I feel like people with mental illness really don't get the representation they need. And for psychiatry in the U.S., there's only about 8% that are black. So. Yeah.
So what kind of made you, what was the field that got you into that line of work? Because I know, why you'd want to get into this, but what was it? When did you realize this is what you want to do?
I think I realized when I was in high school, and I was really close with a couple of my guidance counselors. I just went there just to talk to them, honestly. I feel like I'm a great people person. I think I'm very personable.
Good listener.
Good listener, thank you.
Yeah.
And, when I went to college and I just saw people just struggling mentally, maybe with depression or anxiety, and that's when I truly understood people were really hurting and they don't want to use the outlet. Sometimes even, I forgot what that building was called, that people went to maybe just to see a therapist or something, but it's just even the wait time to see them, people would be waitlisted for 2 months just to see a school psychiatrist,
This is at UMass Dartmouth?
Yeah, at UMass.
So I'm a graduate from UMass too, and I never heard of the building.
Yeah, I forgot I'm gonna look it up, but the wait time was extremely long.
Yeah, but they did have a space.
Yeah.
So to get your name on that space, to say that you need to talk to somebody was that was huge too.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to have, and I'm glad that you're going into that field. It's actually my field as well. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? As a black woman, do you feel that mental health takes a toll over making these types of decisions to even further your education or to even go into the athletic perspective?
Yeah, like even the conversation we had before this, like
Right.
we have to work so many, like at least 3 times harder just to get the same, even that, you
Mhm.
know? And it comes down to many things like equal pay or, you know, maybe certain positions in different companies you want to work for or work with. Like it's just never the same treatment. No matter how many degrees you earn
Right.
or how much experience you have, it's never truly going to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's definitely a disadvantage,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
So that was one of my questions. So the motivation though, you have to have that. Right?
Oh yeah.
And
Mhm.
having that safe space where you can at least talk to somebody helps you like kind of focus more in on what you want to do,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Even in what I've noticed in the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
discussing mental health, like it's gotten better over the years and stuff, but I come from, my parents are Haitian immigrants and I'm first generation in this country, and even with my own family, like I feel like the talk of mental health
Mm-hmm.
needs to be more prominent.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, if I'm going through something, maybe I'm not depressed, I'm just going through something, like I
Right.
just want someone to talk to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And we have to be, we have to say that
Mhm.
because being a Black woman, we have to hold the weight. So holding the weight means you can't let them see you break.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If something is bothering you, you have to hold it in. And then that's why we have a lot of people like, oh, I don't know where I'm going, like I'm lost. And when you're at that breaking point, you know, if you were able to get the help before you got there, you could see a different outcome. And that's what we have to be like mindful of. So I'm glad that you said the word. Key word to that, what she just said was prominent.
Mhm.
We really don't, you know. Very good, thank you.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about mental health and went into detail about, you know, holding everything in and, you know, especially coming from an immigrant family, not being able to talk about what you're going through and just talking to hear your voice and stuff for that nature. So are there any other things that you feel that aren't given to light as far as it goes for Black women in the professional setting as well as professional basketball?
I think one of the biggest things is the opportunities that we are presented with. Like, I could say, for instance, when I was in college, when I was playing, the opportunities for playing overseas wasn't like blasted right in my face. And I don't want to attribute it to me being a player at a D3 school, but maybe that could be a reason. Either that, or it's just like because I am a Black woman. Like, I don't know. You know, I know the men definitely had more outlets and more support when it came to playing after college.
Okay.
So
support was like
yeah,
that too.
hmm
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a Black woman, with that being said, about things being limited, as far as communicating it, do you think that even you speaking up was dismissed a lot? Like, you know, yeah, you really don't want to play. Oh yeah, go sit down. You're not serious. Or was the opportunity not even given, would you say?
Personally, like I said, my sophomore year was really the turning point for when I really realized I could. And I did speak with my coach and like the coaching staff about like my ideas for playing overseas, and they were like I'm thankful they were actually really helpful for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got opportunities. My coach would like, he knew some overseas coaches, and like there were different things they did. Like, you know how some teams will go to like Germany for a week and play USA. Like I got the opportunity. I never went. I should have went, honestly, but
Yeah.
I was just like, I'll have something later. Like I always know there's gonna be something for me, maybe not just that.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that for myself, but I know there's other girls that didn't have the same opportunity as me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just feel like opening the door more for that, and just feeling celebrated more
Yeah.
when we
Definitely.
play, and not even just for basketball, but in general.
In general.
Yeah.
So by you saying that, do you think that because you spoke up and you asked more, that's probably why you got that opportunity?
That, and I feel like because my coach really saw my potential,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's another one, because, you know, not every player got to be invited, and he didn't recommend every player.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just one of the other reasons. I did work hard, you know, I loved my team. I think everybody on the team worked hard, but I think he just saw something different in me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
All right. I love it.
So let's talk a little bit about the news and social media. There's a lot of issues that has been coming into light, especially the past week, when it comes to social justice and everything that goes on around the world. But pertaining to Black women and Black women culture, what is something that you feel that isn't given enough light in the mainstream media?
I think one of the main things, I'm always gonna go to like equal pay, because even I've noticed like where I work, like even if I have the same position as a man, I might even have one more degree than him, I'm still not gonna get paid the same as him. I think that's a really big thing, and I was thinking about this the other day when it came to, like, for example, the NBA championship and WNBA championship. Everybody knows the Lakers and LeBron was the MVP. How many people know that the Seattle Storm won and Breanna Stewart was MVP? Like, not that many people would know that.
Yeah.
I just feel like highlighting us more, especially like on the news, ESPN, talking about us more, like
Right.
that's gonna get more revenue for games. And I understand like it might not equal the same as what like Anthony Davis is making, or like Steph Curry for like, as compared to like Sue Bird and like Candace Parker, but at least highlighting us more, getting more advertisements out, putting more games on the actual ESPN, not like ESPN2 or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like
on the mainstream
Yeah.
media. Yeah, definitely.
just being included. Everyone wants to be included. That's inherent for everyone. So
Excellent. I was actually proud of them too. I was like, Storm, yes, yes. So I was very excited about that. Yeah, and they celebrated. They did it up, but they did downplay it,
yeah.
which it shouldn't have been, because it was like, oh, when's the next game for the guys, for the men? So we need our equal rah-rah too. All right, so your perspective about Black women being supported, and how do you feel going towards like with your independence as a Black woman out here doing the psychology thing? My uncle is actually into psychology, and he does it from an athletic perspective, the mindful athlete. So being mindful as a Black woman, but also in the field that you're actually going in, how do you feel that you could utilize those skills?
I think for my parents, for one, because they have supported me and a lot of the things, they're really proud of like how I've become like super independent. Like I have my apartment, like I'm going to school full time, I'm working full time still, and I have a balance just to even take time for myself and relax and still being Nakira like every day.
Right. So that balance, you know what I mean? So if you had to sit down with a young aspiring woman that wants to play basketball, what would you share with her to help that would help her actually balance it off?
Time management.
Definitely.
Time management is huge. Like you have to take the time to like, okay, you might, let's say for a kid, they go to school to like 3:30, whatever. They'll probably have practice probably till like 7, 8 o'clock, and then they have homework, and then they still have to like eat dinner and do all these things. So it's like you need time management. Once you develop that and like adolescence, like you'll get better. So when you become a young adult, and even when you become an adult in the working world and stuff, whatever you want to do in life. So that's a really big
So
thing.
managing your time better, Okay, excellent. Well, I love that answer. That'll help you be more successful, right? Definitely.
So yeah, for me, that answers all of my questions, but I do have one fun fact question for you to end this off. So who is your favorite NBA player, and who is your favorite WNBA player, and why?
My favorite NBA player was definitely Kobe. He still is, because I just really appreciate it. I'm always going to bring it back to women, but he just celebrated us so much, and he was all about inclusion. And one of my favorite quotes of him, it was like, different animals, same bees. And he was all about the empowerment of women, and that's really what his like Mamba mentality was. Like, it wasn't just for the best player in the room or the best player in the court. It was a person who's going to work the hardest, have the most passion, and to fulfill what they want to do. So that's why he's one of my favorite players ever. And then WNBA, I think my favorite has to be Candace Parker.
Yes.
I love her. I
Yes.
love watching her since she was in college. And I was just like, oh, I gotta keep watching her. So I just love watching her.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome. And Kobe has all girls, so.
Mhm.
That Mamba mentality, I don't know who's gonna do it. If it's gonna be Coco or BB, but I think I see one of them coming up. I definitely see one of them.
Mhm.
So, I just want to thank you for the opportunity today to actually sit down and have this conversation with you, because I think that a lot of the young women that I actually work with in the community will look at you and say, oh wow, like I can play basketball and have a dream of doing something else that could actually help. I have a lot of young ladies that actually struggle mentally, and they come to me for the help because they don't feel that anybody else is listening. So to be that voice in the community, it actually helps to have that balance, like you said. You gotta have that balance, and that's actually what I teach, so I'm glad that you said that. It just really, really hit home for what my role is here in Good Move and Noah's Son, and just being that active Black woman in the community to kind of like, lift up our young kids.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be the voice, they have it as well, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But a lot of times they don't have that pH balance that we have as women, the testosterone, because it's the lion for you to roar, you know what I mean, to be heard. Whereas for us, it's like the protection and just always just honed in, like this is what you're geared to do. So we're now stepping out of that realm, and you can have a family, you can play basketball, and you can be a psychologist. Do it all. It's the new era.
Yes.
2020.
That's what I want to end with. It's definitely the new era. The world is changing as we speak with the COVID and everything going on, so it's a new time, and we're excited for this interview and as well as the future, and we have a lot coming in store.
Yeah, we do. And we're here on purpose.